Joining us now to talk about this and even more outrageousness with Obamacare is Sally Pipes, president of the Pacific Research Institute. Hey, Sally, how are you?
I'm well, thanks, Steve. And you?
Good. Great to talk to you. All right. Before you even weigh in on this, let's talk about something that we learned just the other day, and that is that the cost cap has been delayed now by Obama, and that cost cap, if I'm interpreting it correctly, means the most that an insured person, someone who has health insurance, could pay out of pocket. There was a cap on that under Obamacare, I believe, and now Obama, again, picking and choosing what parts of the law he'll enforce and when, has now granted the insurance companies, a year's delay in instituting that cap?
Yes, absolutely. That's a one-year delay, and it's for those people who have employer-based coverage. It's not, apparently, at the moment anyway, for individuals. But, the cap was supposed to be $6,350 for individuals and $12,700 for families. So this is just another, Steve, one of the delays. And, it kind of slipped under the radar. This was a decision back in February, and it was only, released on the weekend in the New York Times. So there's that. There's the delay of 1 year of the employer mandate. There's the issue of no income verification for those people who will receive subsidies from the government for purchasing insurance in the exchange. All of these things, it's just one thing after another. Is it any wonder that the new poll came out today saying 47% of Americans polled think this law is a bad idea?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's not to insinuate that 53% like it. That's right. That's not the case at all. All right, so when you hear about from the report that Lisa Myers did for NBC News that we just played you, something that's been apparent and obvious and talked about for months by business owner after business owner, especially in the restaurant business and the fast food business and the hotel business, and now it's expanding to unions and colleges, and then the White House says, "Oh, we have no indication. This is just anecdotal." Of course they're lying, aren't they?
Well, of course. Red Lobster, Andy Puster, who is the head of Carl's Jr. and Hardee's CKE restaurants, he has written in the Wall Street Journal, been on television, saying that, they are really, changing the way they do their business because of Obamacare. Any employer with 50 or more employees is subject to the $2,000 per employee fine if they don't offer insurance. Of course, this is being delayed, but and full-time is considered 30 hours a week or more. And so, was it any surprise that, the head of the Teamsters and several other major unions came out and said, hey, we supported the Cadillac tax coming into effect in 2018, but now what does this mean for our members and their health care benefits? The federal law says that the average work week is 40 hours. So there are all kinds of things going on, but the big issue is, I think, the American economy is not expanding. Small business, larger businesses are not, hiring new employees, and when they do, they're hiring them at reduced hours, say 27 hours a week rather than 30 to 40. And so this is really, the Obama administration is really not telling the truth, because the evidence is out there from companies and CEOs, union members, people in the educational field, that Obamacare is affecting how they are running their businesses.
We're talking to Sally Pipes, president of the Pacific Research Institute, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. I'm disturbed by something Newt Gingrich said, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised because Newt Gingrich is now working for CNN. And like any good Republican hired by CNN, they either had to start out being a way to the left, or they kind of gravitate there to fit in with the CNN's idea of a Republican. And I would hate to think that that's what we could expect from Newt Gingrich on Crossfire when it begins in September. Having said that, Newt Gingrich was speaking at an event in Boston, an RNC summer meeting, and he said that the GOP has no health care plan. And he said that we're caught up now in a culture, and you see it every single day, where as long as we are negative, and as long as we are vicious, and as long as we can tear down our opponent, we don't have to learn anything. There is a plan. There are several plans. There have been several alternatives that the House has in waiting, that the House has passed. So where the heck does Newt Gingrich come out saying the Republicans are being vicious and tearing down their opponent and negative, and they don't have any plan? What is that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, he's sort of gone over to the other side. One would hope that he would be, a counter voice to the regular people on CNN. But Steve, you're right. There are many plans out there. Tom Coburn had a plan. Paul Ryan, Tom Price has a plan. There are a lot.
Louis Gohmert has a plan.
Right. So there are a lot of plans out there. I think it's unfortunate that the Republicans can't get their act together and sort of stand behind, one plan, because I don't know if you heard on the weekend, but Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, when asked on a PBS interview, do you think this will be the end of the insurance industry? Are we going to a single payer
Yes,
Medicare
that's the
for
plan.
all?
Yep.
And he said, yes, absolutely. And I've always said that this is the long-term goal.
Absolutely.
Insurance companies are going to be crowded out, and we're going to be left in what I grew up under, a Canadian-style Medicare for all, and it's going to be a disaster. So Newt Gingrich needs to read my new broadside, The Cure for Obamacare, where there is a replacement plan. But the Republicans need to get their act together and really stand up and say, the American people don't like this. It is going to be a disaster. We don't want single payer. And, Max Baucus is right. There's a train wreck coming down the path.
Well, the problem is, Sally, most Americans don't even know what single payer means. What the Republicans
need Medicare for all.
Right.
Medicare
What the Republicans need to do is say, we are, as Donald Trump urged them to do on this show yesterday, and as some brave Republicans are saying they want to do, is say we are going to take a stand because this is the most devastating thing this nation has faced or will face, and we will not let it go through. So we will defund it. And then if, as Reince Priebus said, if the government gets shut down, it will not be the Republicans shutting it down. It will be the president shutting it down over this. And here's our plan. And then hold up a piece of paper that says, you like the donut hole closing up? We're closing it up in our plan. You like keeping your so-called kids on your insurance till 23, 25? We're doing it on our plan. The one or two or three you like no pre-existing conditions, it's on our plan. And make that clear. Make that plain. Why is it so hard for them to do that?
That is exactly why was it so hard for Romney during the campaign, the presidential campaign, to come out and say, what, I thought Romney Care was a good idea for Massachusetts. It's expensive. It's not working out. Therefore, I wouldn't want this for the nation. But for some reason, these people can't stand up. I mean, I think, you're right. I mean, we have to stand firm on this defunding issue, which Mike Lee and Ted Cruz, a number of Republicans are all, we'll be blamed with shutting down the government. It's time to take a stand because, as I like to say, if we do not repeal and replace this legislation in 2017, we're on the road to serfdom. There's no off-ramp. And we are going to be all subject to Medicare for all. And where are we going to go for our health care? People come from all over the world.
Next time I have you on, Sally, I want you to tell me all about the Canadian system, because I remember the first time I've mentioned this to you before. The first time I had you on, I saw your piece in the New York Post many years ago, and you were writing about the horrors of the Canadian system and even a personal experience, and that's what led me to you in the first place all those years ago. And now we're staring it in the face. So next time I'll have you on, I want to talk about that at length. But thank you, Sally. Appreciate it as always.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. Sally Pipes, ladies and gentlemen. She, of course, president of the Pacific Research Institute. When we come back, a rodeo has a clown. The rodeo clowns at rodeos? I've never been to a rodeo, but, And the clown has a mask, and it's a Barack Obama mask. I can't begin to tell you, although I will when we come back, what has happened. You would think that no president has ever been disrespected or made fun of, ever, in the history of our wonderful nation. Because what has happened to the clown, what has happened to the rodeo, what is happening in calls for investigations by the NAACP and others is outlandish. But we'll show you, if you're watching at Newsmax.com, we'll show you another rodeo clown mask that was once worn, and nobody batted an eye. All ahead as we continue. Yeah, you got to see this if you're watching at Newsmax.com. If you're listening on the radio or wherever, get to Newsmax TV and check it out, because I'm coming back. You got about 5 minutes before we do it right here on the Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax TV.